don't have high hopes for the future of game ball etiquette based on what else we saw last night.
Yeah, I'm walking out of Frostbank Center, and I'll admit, I felt like a moron. I couldn't figure out how to get out of there. There's just too many layers, and it was too late. Like, I'd never seen an arena empty out so quickly. Like, it would have been an hour, but like there was no, like, from the concession stands to, like, it was a ghost town. There was one back hallway that like had weird fluorescent lights. I felt like I was in like the Twilight Zone. It was bizarre. There's one TV with ESPN on, and there's on the ticker it says Giannis, mad about game ball. And I hadn't really seen what had happened because I was in the post game. There was definitely a big contingent of the local San Antonio press were like following along about Giannis's career high number because they had to come back in because the Pacers trimmed the lead down to 10 and whatever. Then I get into the Uber and I start scrolling, which I try to do as little as possible these days because, and we're gonna go through the whole sequence here, but I'm probably making this into a bigger thing than needs to be. I'm so saddened and disappointed by what I'm calling the both sidesing of our society. It has been.
This is a really heavy entry point for that. Like I'm interested to see how this ties back to that problem.
Because now you have to be on one side or the other on anything, and you have to hate the other side and think they're wrong. And in this case, the Pacers, you have to be on the Pacers side or you have to be on the Bucks side. In our rundown, at one point, I saw something was, who deserves the game ball? No one deserves anything in this life. There is no rule book and barometer and check mark to say, oh, you deserve this. It's just, we got to wake up and do our best and treat other people well. And that's really it. So the fact that this world we live in now, thanks to social media particularly, is driving a wedge between us on everything, including what celebration is bigger. Oscar Tshiebwe's first career NBA point or Giannis Antetokounmpo's career high. I got to pick a side. I don't want to pick a side. This whole thing is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. What occurred, apparently, so like the best way to unravel these events to show how ridiculous they were, the game ends and Giannis comes back out of the tunnel because he has been told that the Pacers took the game ball for his 64-point career high, which also set the franchise record in Milwaukee. The game was in Milwaukee. Apparently, it's this like huge affront that a visiting team could take a ball from an opposing arena when it's not like there's literally thousands of these Spalding balls in NBA facilities across the map. We've got $4 billion franchises. One ball, I think, could be pretty replaceable. So, do you want to stop me here?
I get, like, it does, I can understand it mattering that the ball you have to bring home with you is the one you actually scored 64 points with, or the one that actually was the one that went through the basket for your first point of your NBA career. Setting aside the part that we can get to about Oscar Tshiebwe's actual point count in his career, I get that it's like, instead of somebody saying, like, congratulations, you've won a gold medal. Now, this isn't actually a gold medal. It's like, it looks exactly like the gold medal.
That's what I'm saying. This isn't a gold medal. It's Giannis might score 72 in 2 weeks from now.
Well, then he should get that ball too. That's a lot of points.
There is no should. Look,
the part of this that matters most is that everybody, you want to talk about everybody being wrong. Bucks security got the ball. It wasn't even the Pacers coaches who took it away. It was a Bucks security guard who went and got the ball. So the Bucks had the ball.
You're skipping too far ahead to really lay out.
I'm sorry. I'm getting very agitated.
Yeah, I am too. Look,
I'm trying to meet your level of agitation.
So the game ends. Giannis runs back out because he's learned that the Pacers took the ball. He is confronting Lloyd Pierce and Tyrese Halliburton and sticking his finger in Halliburton's nose, which, quick pause, I will say, this is kind of what the in-season tournament was really really hoping to be about. It wasn't to be enough of a revenue drawer so you'll get Apple or Amazon to pay X number of hundreds of millions of dollars to carry like a couple of games, which that's a whole other thing. The goal was to also add rivalries and greater, history between teams. The Pacers and Bucks clearly got something going on right now, and they play another home and home style game matchup in early January. So we got 2 weeks from that. That'll be get your programs calendared, your calendars programmed.
Get your calendars programmed.
So the Pacers put out a tweet in the middle of all this to say Oscar Tshiebwe moved to the United States and the Democratic Republic of Congo as a teenager to pursue his basketball dreams. Tonight, he realized his dream of playing in the NBA and scored his first career point, and that's who they got the ball from. That was the last editorialization of my part. Now, Big Oscar was like one of the most interesting stories in professional sports, not really professional sports, but kind of if you look at it through the NIL lens back at Kentucky, because he stayed in Kentucky an extra year, partially because NIL, weird NCAA rules wouldn't let him make money that he was deserved. He was able to because everyone else could if they they weren't here on a visa to play college basketball. That was a whole thing. It went to the courts. I remember being on the phone. It was back when I was at Bleacher Report. Like they were fighting for his ability to make money, just like the guy at the locker next to him. And he stayed in college another year because he made like $2 million in NIL money. Like his plight of battling to get his and get his mark has been like documented and long. So the craziest thing about all this, to your point, is that back to the in season tournament, his first point did come in the championship game, but it didn't count. Because the 83rd game, the championship game, the stats don't matter. Anthony Davis's 40-point, 20-rebound game, throw it out. Didn't happen.
It's like it happened on Snapchat. Just erases after 24 hours.
That's a very good joke for a 40-year-old man. Look, this whole thing is so dumb. You have Tyrese Halliburton tweeting out the cap on the sap, which is hilarious, admittedly. But like, come on, man. To your point, then after all this, there's obvious footage that shows this Bucks staffer in a forest green quarter zip running out to the court to get the ball, to then where Rick Carlisle is asked about it. He doesn't even like acknowledge that Giannis's accomplishment is even worthy of a game ball. But then he says that the Bucks players who confronted them in the hallway elbowed his GM, Kevin Pritchard, and he's got a bruised rib now. Like Rick Carlisle a week ago in Vegas wanted to temper the media when he said, Rick Carlisle said from his mouth that Andrew Nebhard might have hyperextended his knee. And then a reporter said to him, just to be clear, you think he hyperextended his knee? He's like, oh, no, I have no idea. Like, I don't want to be. But now he's going out and saying that Kevin Pritchard has a bruised rib, which
just for the purposes of clarity, I believe he said it was Chad Buchanan, the GM Chad
Buchanan. I'm sorry.
My apologies.
I'm sorry, Chad. I hope your rib is okay. And then after all that, Eric Name, my guy, asks Giannis to confirm if he has the game ball. And not just Giannis, but then Dame doubles down too. They're swearing they don't know. Giannis says, I have a ball, but I don't know if it's the game ball. It doesn't feel like the game ball to me. It feels like a brand new ball. I played 35 minutes today. I know how the game ball felt. Like, bro, what are we doing? And there's people celebrating this online as if like, this is why the NBA is awesome. This is why the NBA is silly. If you like the silliness, for sure, but the fact that now this has become a debate on who's right and who should have gotten the ball, and it's the Bucks versus the Pacers, and what side are you on? That's the part that's really pissing me off.
Oh, I'm glad you could get that off your chest. I'm glad we could work through those feelings here. I know this is not a self-help podcast about basketball, but I'm glad we can still work through some of those things.
Thank you. Again, I'll be a guest on Divine Intervention anytime you ask.
Yeah, no, we're definitely going to get around to you. The other thing we didn't bring up, but like it is definitely part of the inciting incident of this, is Aaron Nesmith just like there was a flagrant foul earlier in the game where Giannis is going to the basket and Nesmith just like is trying to wrap him up to keep him from getting the ball on the backboard and winds up pulling him down.
But even there, hold on, even there, video zoomed in on Thanasis freaking out on the bench. Hold me back. Hold me back. The dude, and I really love Thanasis. I have enjoyed my time talking with him. Watching him in Manila for the Greek team was a delight because he is just as animated there. If he really wanted to get there, he would have gotten there. And he's like, he hooked his arm. If you want to really look at the footage, he hooked his arm around Jay Crowder's arm. He told Jay Crowder, hold me back. Not the other, like, come on, man. This is all an act. It's all a sham. This is WWE.
I was going to say, shades of Goldberg, the goalie in Mighty Ducks saying, like, hold me back, hold me back. Don't go over there. That guy will kill you. I know, but you got to hold me back so it looks like I'm going to go kill him. So yeah. I just choose to believe that Thanasis is really studying the great films of American cinema and really modeling his behavior after Goldberg, the goalie.
Look, as someone who has said, I believe on these airwaves, I want the NBA to be as WWE as possible. I don't mean it like that. I mean it as
you make the wish, the monkey paw curls a finger, and here you are. You know, this is. You don't always get it the way you want it, my friend. Sometimes you get what's coming to you, perhaps more than anything else. And so, I don't know.
Just my plea to go in the writer's room. Bring me inside. Let me help. I will make it better.
Somebody reached out to me who used to be in WWE creative because they're like, you sometimes make jokes about wrestling, and I like your basketball coverage. So I was like, bring me in that writer's room. Let me find out what it's like to write, a storyline for, I don't know, R-Truth or something like that. Anyway, the drama and the silliness and the cap on the app and the sprinting down tunnels looking for game balls and the gamesmanship, and then also maybe everybody's just wrong. It is something to pay attention to, and it's
embarrassing, is what it is.
I mean, whatever. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not like. But I can think that, but I'm also the guy who's going to write like 2,000 words about the friggin' Timberwolves defense, right? Like, of course, I'm not there for that. The casual fans who are the ones who keep the lights on, and thank you so much for watching and listening to our podcast, are much more interested in, or much more likely to be interested in stuff like that. So if we can present both sides of this thing, the interesting part from a bigger picture perspective is there's like actual heat between these two teams now. And they are going to play again another 2-game series in a couple of weeks, right? And so, like, we're going to have, like, we've generated some beef in a rivalry here where also you're going to watch these games for some bad feelings and also a ton of points because God bless the Pacers being an offense good enough that you got to score 60 to beat them, and a defense bad enough that they'll let you score 60 to beat them. So there's a game component that is actually like the game on the court that's fun and that is competitive and that is interesting, and there's a reason that these guys are going to care about it. And then there's also the other stuff too that can bring more people in. So I don't know, everybody come under the big tent. There's a circus going on, and there's something to enjoy no matter what you're looking for.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say is, like, to me, with the WWE of it all, give me that Matt Ishbia, Nikola Jokic playoffs ball thing over this. Like, every day. That's the line. That's where I draw the line. Jokic laughs about it. They have a whole pregame moment the next game where they're like, we're wrestling. But when it's this, like, it came up with the tiebreaker stuff during the World Cup. Not the World Cup, the in-season tournament. Excuse me. There's too many layers of these unwritten rules of, like, what you're supposed to do in the NBA for all these, like, macho men who make millions of dollars to be so sensitive about. That's just my thought. That's my take.